So this message today is for a very specific collective, and you'll know if it's for you. And whenever it's finding you, it is intended for you, because I pulled out a couple of cards just before I started recording. And I think that if you're here, one of your biggest lessons this year, whether you have acknowledged it or not, has been a real deep growth in your sense of self, in your sense of belief in yourself. And I pulled out this card, which is, I don't know if it's picking up. This is from Sophie Bashford's Goddesses, Gods and Guardians, Goddesses, Gods and Guardians deck. And it's one of my favourite. It really speaks to me. So believe in yourself. And also I'm sharing this with you because I am also part of that same collective. The energy that comes to me is coming to me because it's coming to you, and it's coming to me because I'm part of the collective. So I'm just sharing what comes through and very much relating to it within my own experience as well. So this year has been, you may have had a lot of challenges this year. You may have had a lot of things that felt like life was just not going your way. And perhaps in the moment you felt like, yeah, a sense of hopelessness. But really what all of these challenges were doing were providing you with an opportunity to believe in yourself, so that you know that when you step into this next new year, 2026, which is a year one of a 9-year cycle in numerology, that you are going into it primed and ready. Because in 2025, you really came to realise that you're made of strong stuff. And I know we don't always want to have to be strong. I know many of us in this collective are exhausted, tired, flat out fatigued from having to be strong. But it's taught you so much. And I know it's hard when you've been through hard times and you're like, can that just be enough now? Can this be like my soft life season about to start loading? And I believe it is. I feel like 2026 is going to bring many blessings. And I think every single year up until now has primed you for it. All of the hardships. And I think that if you're here, I think that you're probably someone who hasn't just come up against one hardship in life. It's almost like these hurdles lined up ahead of you, and you've run and you've jumped and you've just about got over the first one, and by the time you get to the next hurdle you're a little bit more tired and your foot clips it and you trip, and then you're on the floor and then you get back up and now your confidence is bruised and you're running on to the next hurdle, and you're watching other people just sprinting, leaping. Meanwhile you're on the floor looking at them like, can I catch a break? But instead you've got to pull yourself back up and somehow find the resources to vault you over again. But you don't give up. You don't just stay there. You don't just slip off the side of the course. You sit there for a moment, you acknowledge how painful it's been, you acknowledge how hard it's been and how you've doubted that it could ever be any better. But somewhere deep within you is something that keeps going. It's like a little fire that's burning. It's like a red hot ember that refuses to be put out. Every time you get down, the ember's there burning, willing you to get back up. And as you do, the ember's fueled as you manage to rise to your feet again. And so you take that next hurdle. And then this fire inside you is getting brighter and you're feeling more resourced because of the energy that it's creating in your body. And then before you know it, all of these hurdles that you once tripped over, now you're bounding over them effortlessly. And I've got a real sense that 2026 is going to be the year that you really create that create that momentum. I don't know why sometimes, your mouth just tries to make extra letters and extra unnecessary things, just basically a malfunction. Yeah. So I think 2026 is going to bring you some fruits for all of the times that you've had to pull yourself back up. So that strength, that resilience, that courage, that determination that you've nurtured For such a long time, it has just helped you to come through survival mode, but now you're going to be able to channel that energy smart because you've started to believe in yourself. You've started to believe in yourself. So now you can consciously use that same energy that's been driving you forward and channel it into something very, very powerful. Something that you want to see grow in this world, because inside of you, within that fire, within that ember, is like the seed of your soul that sits keeping that fire burning. And as you keep going, as you keep letting that fire burn, this seed of your soul grows, and you'll have that deep sense that you're here for a reason. You'll know, if you're here, that you've got a greater purpose, even if you don't know exactly what it is or what it looks like. You'll have that sense that you're here for more. And this is going to be when you start to see some fruits from life after what will feel like a long haul of survival mode. So I pulled this ocean, sweet success. This is what 2026 is bringing for us, sweet success, because now we know how to harness the power of this energy and use it as a creative force for good. It's because we're not surviving anymore. We're leaving survival in 2025 and all the years that have gone past. But we're going to look at it before we turn away and just say thank you. Thank you for teaching me so much about myself. Thank you for showing me how to get back up time and time again. Thank you for teaching me more about myself than an easy track could have, a track without any hurdles. Because these hurdles have really helped you to see who you really are, beyond the conditioning, beyond who we're told who we are, beyond the small limits of who we think we are. The hurdles helped us to really craft ourselves. So now we've got this awareness, we can really work with it consciously to create really beautiful and meaningful lives. So in thinking about lessons that there are to learn next year, to help us on this path to our sweet success, let's have a look. Watch your words. Watch your words. So much of how we move through the world, again, if we go back to that fuel, is fueled by our own dialogue, the words that we say, what we believe. So over the next year, as we're stepping into this new cycle, just be really mindful of the way that you speak to yourself and of your internal dialogue, and think about how you want to show up in the world. Think about how you want to be in the world. I'm just trying to turn my phone on do not disturb because it's popping. Because I'm so popular. Not really. It's the school group chat, which is always popping. So think of, how you speak to yourself. How are you conditioning yourself from within? Because it's so easy to have this negative internal dialogue that can be so unconscious. We'll be moving around our days, not realising the way that we talk ourselves out of things, the way that we lower our own vibration and frequency through this negative self-talk. So just be really mindful of how you speak light into yourself. Are you speaking lightness, or are you speaking darkness? Are you raising your vibration, or are you lowering your vibration? Try and find ways to be mindful throughout the day. Like when you look in the mirror, do you automatically negatively start scrutinizing yourself like so many of us do? Are you looking at yourself, picking out all the flaws? Why don't you find all of the things there are to celebrate? And follow that throughout life as well. Follow that throughout life. Find the things to celebrate as you move through your days. Find that natural wellspring of gratitude within by tuning into all of these things, because that all impacts how we speak to ourselves, how we speak to others, how we experience life, and how we can be impacting our experience with our words. So, on the path to having a successful 2026, just bear your words in mind. Let me see if there's anything else for us to consider. On the path to becoming our best selves in 2026. divine messages. Divine messages. So on our path, there's always this wisdom of the divine that is there to help us on our path, but we need to be able to be willing to tune into it. And this is why it's important as well to be watching our words, because we can be so consumed with the chatter of our mind that we're missing out on the subtle little signs and cues and bits of inspiration that come through from the divine that wants us to move towards our greatest potential. But if you're consumed by this chatter and these self-limitations and limitations of society, then you miss out on the messages. So get that chatter of the mind under control. Start reconnecting with that intuition. And just start building up a relationship with your intuition so you can start to trust it and follow the guidance. Because for so many of us, we'll have these ideas within of something that we're supposed to do, somewhere we're supposed to go, something that we should create. We have these ideas, but then what follows that that natural divine flow of creativity, inspiration and messages is the mind, and how the mind is then programmed to talk us out of doing things. Like, you might have had some really great business idea, and then as soon as you've had this incredibly inspiring download of some future potential thing to create, then you start thinking, oh, well, I can't do that because, I don't know how to do this, or I don't have the money to do that. Stop talking yourself out of it. Start speaking light into it. See my mouse doing that malfunctioning thing again. Start thinking of ways that you can speak light into stuff, and then start taking the aligned action to support your path to sweet success in 2026. Listen out to those messages. Notice those things that keep coming up inside. Create space for stillness when we're not being consumed with social media and everybody else's thoughts, or back-to-back Netflix. Like, create that space for yourself to receive that divine wisdom, whether you believe in a source creator, a God, your guides, your ancestors, whoever you connect to in terms of like being that higher power and source of wisdom, whether it's your higher self. Create the space for that wisdom to download, because if you're always consuming, then how do you ever know what's really true for you? So create those little pockets of space. And some people are really uncomfortable in the stillness and in meditation and in creating space. So find little ways, if little ways that work for you. If you've got good mobility and you like to get out and go for a walk, you can connect by just being mindful in nature, just noticing what you can see, noticing what you can feel, whether it's the breeze, the smells. Depending on where you live, the bridge round by where I live is not the most pleasant smelling place. So just find those little ways that you can connect all your senses. Or if you are comfortable with sitting in the stillness, you can do that as well. Just let yourself land. Bring your energy back within. You can even put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath and just sigh out the day, and notice how your energy just comes back within. Or if you light candles, light a candle and just sit and gently observe the flame. Whatever way you can, create that space, because these corporations, these corporate entities, they don't want us in our space. They want us consuming. They want us buying. They're farming our energy for their financial gain, and and it builds their power and reduces and takes away from ours. So just pull back that bit of power and that bit of energy, and bring yourself back into the centre, because you might be surprised by what wants to come through when you create the space for it. But if we're not creating the space, then we'll never know. And some of the most wonderful experiences for me have come when I've been willing to just sit and be. And some magical things have happened, and some magical experiences have come through. I've created my book from going into that space. So, yeah, lots of divine messages and inspiration can flow if only we allow it to. And I'll leave that there for today. So I'm sending you big love. Come and connect. I'll drop a link in the description where we can connect. I'm wishing you a peaceful, beautiful week ahead. Big love. Peace out. And I'll catch you next week.